You're listening to Equality Radio.
Equality Radio.
Fabulous.
Now, here's your host, Randall White.
Randall White on Q Talk America.
Taking your calls at 424-272-6365. That's 4242 Randall with an O-L. Randall, not Randall. Don't be shy. We would love to hear from you on this glorious Friday. The American Medical Association, the AMA, voted this week, I don't know if you caught this or not, during its annual meeting to reject the FDA's lifetime ban on blood donations from men who have sex with men. The policy also expresses support for the use of rational, scientifically based deferral periods that are fairly and consistently applied to blood donors. AMA board member Dr. William Cobbler said, quote, "The lifetime ban on blood donation for men who have sex with men is discriminatory and not based on sound science," closed quote. He went on to say, quote, "This new policy urges a federal policy change to ensure blood donation bans or deferrals are applied to donors according to their individual level of risk and are not based on sexual orientation alone," close quote. Wow, that is a welcome change and a very long time coming, but better late than never. Did you know about this gay ban on giving blood? I first learned about it back in, I want to say it was 1999, when working as a news anchor in Madison, Wisconsin. We were doing a blood drive fundraiser for the local Red Cross. And I came across that little piece of information, and I thought, you got to be kidding me. And so later, probably around 2004, during an interview with the Red Cross, I asked the question, what's up with this ban? And it seems like it's antiquated at this point. And the representative from the Red Cross told me that it wasn't on them. It was the federal government that had issued this, which is true, the FDA. So this vote by the American Medical Association does nothing to officially change this ban. However, it is a very big voice telling the FDA, come on, folks, it's time to update and get into 2013. So this ban's been in place for 3 decades, and it's just a blanket ban. And as we all know, that is just beyond ridiculous. Welcome to this Friday edition of Equality Radio, 3:09 here on the West Coast, 6:09 Eastern, the 21st day of June, 2013. Hey, it is the first day of summer. First full day on the West Coast, first day of summer on the East Coast, because the not the equinox, what is it? The summer solstice hit at a time where it actually happened here on the West Coast last night, late at 10:04, I think it was, and then but on the East Coast, it didn't happen until the morning hour. So tomorrow is your first full day on the East Coast. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. But yeah, it's summertime now. So get out those white loafers and shorts. And well, I guess that was after Memorial Day. You could do that. I'm not very good when it comes to fashion and that sort of thing. So today's Friday. That means this is the last weekday until Monday, when the Supreme Court of the United States could hand down its major decisions on DOMA and Prop 8. DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act. Prop 8, the proposition that was voted into law by the voters of California, sadly, back in 2008, November 4th. And it could all come down on Monday. So stay tuned. If it does, you'll know in the morning, and you'll have plenty of time to get an iPhone or a pad, or you get to your nearest computer and tune in Equality Radio here on Q Talk America for 4 hours, at least 4 hours. That's what we're scheduling for. 4 hours of coverage with legal analysis and major players that behind getting Prop 8 to the Supreme Court and those sorts of things. And really, your opinions are the most important part. So we'll hope you'll give us a call at 4242 Randall on that day. 424-272-6365 is the number to reach us anytime, because this show is live. If you're watching it on Ustream right now or listening via QTalk, it is live. If you're watching it on YouTube, well, clearly it's something that had been posted. All right. On the show today, we have some really great guests. At the bottom of the hour, it is our healthygay-lifestyles.com segment when we feature contributors and article subjects from that website. If you've never checked it out, really, you should. Great information there. Today, author Paul Novello joins us to talk about his inspirational guide to a happy and successful life. We all want that, right? And specifically after a difficult childhood. You do not have to carry these mental blocks in your head from childhood. And Paul will explain why. His book is titled Unshattered Dreams. He will walk us through some of the tips he gives in the book and explain his inspiration for writing it. And in our next segment here, we will be speaking with there's two directors for a gripping documentary. It's called Call Me Kuchu, and it details the rampant homophobia in Uganda and those who live with it. If you haven't heard about this yet, go to callmekuchu.com. We have a link under our program summary. In fact, just go there. Go to equalityradio.net, click on our program summaries, and we have the trailer on there, so you can watch the trailer. Once you're done watching it, I think you'll agree with me. It is a must go to. It 97% out of 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is an incredibly high scoring. And that's not the only place that it receives these really high scores. The LA Times just wrote an amazing piece on it saying, yeah, you got to go see this. It's gripping. And it premieres this today and then through next week in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills on Wilshire Blvd. And so very excited to have one of the two directors. We're not sure which one for a couple of minutes here, but one of the two directors will be on to talk about the movie. And I can't wait to see it. I will be in Los Angeles tomorrow viewing it. It's at I think it's Laemmle Theaters. I think that's how you pronounce it. We'll find out. But at any rate, all the information is available right there on equalityradio.net under the program summaries. So they're coming up right after the commercial break here. And then, like I said, at the bottom of the hour, we'll be talking with author Paul Novello. Hey, smartphone and tablet users, it is really easy to listen to QTalk on the go. Just download the TuneIn app. Search QTalk and then save it as a favorite. It's so easy then. You just touch it and boom, you've got QTalk on the go. And you can listen to it whatever you're doing, jogging, biking, commuting. We tried to schedule this show, Equality Radio, around commute times throughout the U.S., so you should be able to listen to it that way. Shoutcast is another option as well. And always taking your calls at 424-272-6365. I am your host, Randall White. We got a great show ahead on this Friday.
Equality Radio.
Join the conversation. Give us a call. 424-272-6365.
Equality Radio.
Up next, Call Me Kuchu, the documentary film about homophobia in Uganda. You'll want to listen to this. Stay tuned. Can we have your attention for a moment? Eat, Drink, Explore Media has an important date we want to share with you. Saturday, July 13th. We invite you to join us at a craft beer and food event like no other. At last count, generous samples from more than 70 breweries will be paired with local culinary treats for the 2013 Breast Fest along San Francisco's waterfront at Fort Mason. Going on its 14th year, the annual Breast Fest has grown dramatically, raising money for an incredibly important important cause, providing free, complimentary treatments for women battling breast cancer. The Charlotte Maxwell Clinic offers services such as acupuncture, massage, organic foods, and transportation. The clinic's core mission to provide relief from the terrible side effects of cancer and its treatments. Eat, Drink, Explore Media is very proud to be among the main sponsors for this year's event. For more information, go to thebreastfest.org. Are you as excited, maybe even nervous as we are about the upcoming decisions that will be handed down by the Supreme Court of the United States later this month? Hello, I'm Randall White, host of Equality Radio here on Q Talk America. In anticipation of what will surely be a historic day, the staff here at Equality Radio is hard at work, putting together expert guests, background information, and legal analysis for a solid day of live coverage. We are great expanding our show that day to fit the occasion. We want to be sure you have a forum to express your thoughts as history unfolds around us. There may be no greater moment in LGBT history than what's about to happen. And Equality Radio on Q Talk America will be here so we can all share it together. Tell your friends, family, and LGBT allies Q Talk America is the place to be when SCOTUS makes its decision known. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Randall White Radio Hour on Q Talk America. We're now in a local station commercial break, and we'll return to our conversation in just a moment. This break does give us an opportunity, however, to screen your calls as well, so give us a ring right now to share your thoughts on the topic at hand. Our number, 4242-RANDALL. But make sure you spell Randall correctly. My name is spelled R-A-N-D-O-L. Or, here it is in strictly number form, area code 424-272-6365. That's 424-272-6365. This message will repeat just in case you didn't have time to jot it down. You're listening to the Randall White Radio Hour only on Q Talk America. We're now in a local station commercial break, and we'll return to our conversation in just a moment. This break gives us an opportunity, however, to screen your calls as well. So pick up the phone and give us a ring right now. Share your thoughts on the topic at hand. Our number is 4242-RANDALL. That's 4242-RANDALL, and make sure you spell Randall with an O-L at the end, 1-O, 1-L. Or here it is in strictly number form, area code 424-272-6365. 424-272-6365. This message will not repeat because the local commercial break is now over. Time once again to return to the show. Thank you for your patience.
You're listening to
Randall White on Q Talk America. Equality Radio.
19 minutes past the hour on this Friday, the first full day of summer here on the West Coast in California. Beautiful day here in California, down in Los Angeles, the land of movie premieres. And that is what's happening today for a documentary film called Call Me Kuchu. The LA Times saying it's an unnerving look at the Ugandan LGBT struggle. I've only seen the trailer at this point. I'm very happy to say I'll see the movie at the matinee tomorrow there in Beverly Hills. We have the trailer on our website. If you go to equalityradio.net, click under program summaries, and you'll find it right there. But even better than that, we have one of the directors on the line right now. MALIKA, and then ZOUHALI-WORRALL. Am I saying that right? I'm sure I slaughtered it. MALIKA, how are you?
That was pretty close. It's MALIKA ZOUHALI-WORRALL.
ZOUHALI-WORRALL.
Yes.
Okay, I'm writing this down so I can try to get it. The when I say goodbye to you. So
No worries.
You just arrived in Los Angeles. Literally, you sent me an email when the plane landed. How's it feel to be there? I mean, that is the world city for a movie premiere, and you have a movie premiering there today.
Yeah, no, we're very excited. I mean, it's great to be sharing the film with folks in Los Angeles. I mean, it basically tells the story of David Kato, the first openly gay man in Uganda, and his work to fight state-sanctioned homophobia in that country, including a proposed anti-homosexuality bill. So we're excited to be able to bring David's story here to share it with folks who may not be so familiar with it.
I don't think people realize the level of homophobia in that African country.
No, I don't think they do. Or oftentimes, if they are aware of the level of homophobia, what they're often not aware of is the fact that a lot of it has been inspired by American evangelicals actually going to Uganda and encouraging both political leaders and religious leaders to both enforce the homophobic status quo and also to even propose additional legislation that, such as the anti-homosexuality bill, which would basically provide a death penalty for anyone, for any HIV-positive gay men, and a prison sentence for anyone who failed to turn in a homosexual. So it's pretty serious stuff.
So, Malika, you co-directed the film with Katherine Fairfax Wright. How did you two come together on this film and this topic?
Well, in a lot of ways, we were both just very interested in exploring stories around LGBT rights and LGBT activism that weren't the kind of same old stories that we were, reading about in the US or Europe, which were essentially stories around marriage equality. We were very intrigued to know what LGBT activists were doing and what they were fighting for elsewhere in the world. And Uganda, it just became very obvious very quickly as we were researching that Uganda had a really incredibly active community working on the ground, doing activism on all levels, whether it was outreach to marginalized gay communities to provide them with, health education, or whether it was, lobbying their own government through at the United Nations in Geneva. So they were incredible, multi-talented and very, very sophisticated community, and we were really intrigued and really wanted to document that. I think one thing that was very difficult for us both in making this film was the fact that David Kato, the main activist that we spent over a year following, was actually murdered in early 2011, pretty much as a result of his work as a gay rights activist.
That was going to be my next question, was did you experience anything involving violence toward you or toward any of the people you were following? And you just answered that. How about violence toward yourself? Did you ever feel threatened?
For the most part, we personally didn't, largely because, the Ugandan government is relatively moderate towards press and especially towards international press. So there really was never any kind of aggression towards us as filmmakers. And so I guess for the most part, especially after David passed away, our main concern really was for the rest of the community and the threats that they faced.
And to some level, they do live their lives out of the closet, which, here in the United States, we're struggling for a certain level of acceptance. There, they are just struggling to be out of the closet and be safe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, essentially, the decision to come out in Uganda often essentially means that you're becoming an activist by default. And in fact, many people in the community that we met hadn't necessarily decided to come out, but had been outed by newspapers or family or friends. It was a serious issue. That said, the other thing that we really do try and show in the film is that this was a really incredible community beyond its activism. It is also very much a joyful community that really knows how to celebrate themselves and each other, and most of all knows how to have fun. And we definitely showed that in the film, and I think that's something that people can really relate to.
Since you began filming and then, of course, the editing process and everything, it's a long period of time. Have you seen any easing of the homophobia in Uganda during that stretch?
I think, yeah. I mean, I think things have changed for the positive for the most part since we started working on the film in 2009. Not as a result of us working on the film, but we were lucky to be in Uganda at a time when the community was becoming a lot stronger. Now, of course, when any kind of political activist community becomes stronger, their opposition does too. So we were also there at a time when the anti-gay movement was also becoming louder. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess overall, you know, even though the community has lost a really major activist in David Kato, you know, what they've achieved in the last few years, and even since David passed away, has been absolutely incredible, and that's what we show in the film. So there's definitely a very strong, hopeful story in there.
Are you at the theater in Beverly Hills right now?
Yeah, we're here right now. And yeah, we're just getting ready for the opening tonight. Oh,
fantastic! Was there a matinee today, or that's tomorrow?
There was a matinee today, but yeah, there's a matinee every day. It's screening at 1:30 p.m. and 7:10 every day this week.
And the movie's about an hour and a half long, correct?
Yeah, and we're also doing Q&As at most screenings. But you can also check callmekuchu.com. That's callmekuchu.com, just to see exactly when we'll be doing Q&As. But we're going to try and be in as many as we can.
I hope you're there tomorrow afternoon because I'd love to meet you in person. Quickly, before we run out of time, what does Kuchu stand for?
So Kuchu is basically a term that the community uses to refer to itself. So it's an umbrella term for everyone in the community, in the LGBT community. You know, it could be comparable to how the term queer is used. Okay. Although I don't believe the term Kuchu was ever used in a derogatory manner against the community. So it's really a term that they've chosen to refer to themselves.
Well, I wish you nothing but the best of luck with this film. And while the easing of homophobia in Uganda maybe is on the right course, hopefully this might kickstart it a little bit more when people start to see this film and realize what's out there. MALIKA, ZOUHALI-WORRALL. Did I get that right?
Yes, that's right.
Fantastic. I look forward to meeting you tomorrow. You take care.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, everybody. Stay tuned because just after the break, we are getting some life lessons in a really good way. Unshattered Dreams is the name of the book, author Paul Novello's inspiring guide to a happy and successful life, specifically after experiencing a difficult childhood. You're listening to Equality Radio here on Q Talk America, and we're back in just a moment. Can we have your attention for a moment? Eat, Drink, Explore Media has an important date we want to share with you. Saturday, July 13th. We invite you to join us at a craft beer and food event like no other. At last count, generous samples from more than 70 breweries will be paired with local culinary treats for the 2013 Breast Fest along San Francisco's waterfront at Fort Mason. Going on its 14th year, the annual Breast Fest has grown dramatically, raising money for an incredibly important cause, providing free, complimentary treatments for women battling breast cancer. The Charlotte Maxwell Clinic offers services such as acupuncture, massage, organic foods, and transportation. The clinic's core mission to provide relief from the terrible side effects of cancer and its treatments. Eat, Drink, Explore Media is very proud to be among the main sponsors for this year's event. For more information, go to thebreastfest.org. Are you as excited, maybe even nervous as we are about the upcoming decisions that will be handed down by the Supreme Court of the United States later this month? Hello, I'm Randall White, host of Equality Radio here on Q Talk America. In anticipation of what will surely be a historic day, the staff here at Equality Radio is hard at work, putting together expert guests, background information, and legal analysis for a solid day of live coverage. We are greatly expanding our show that day to fit the occasion. We want to be sure you have a forum to express your thoughts as history unfolds around us. There may be no greater moment in LGBT history than what's about to happen. And Equality Radio on Q Talk America will be here so we can all share it together. Tell your friends, family, and LGBT allies Q Talk America is the place to be when SCOTUS makes its decision known. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Randall White Radio Hour on Q Talk America. We're now in a local station commercial break, and we'll return to our conversation in just a moment. This break does give us an opportunity, however, to screen your calls as well, so give us a ring right now to share your thoughts on the topic at hand. Our number, 4242 Randall. But make sure you spell Randall correctly. My name is spelled R-A-N-D-O-L. Or, here it is in strictly number form, area code 424-272-6365. That's 424-272-6365. This message will repeat just in case you didn't have time to jot it down. You're listening to the Randall White Radio Hour only on Q Talk America. We're now in a local station commercial break and we'll return to our conversation in just a moment. This break gives us an opportunity, however, to screen your calls as well. So pick up the phone and give us a ring right now. Share your thoughts on the topic at hand. Our number is 4242 Randall. That's 4242 Randall, and make sure you spell Randall with an O-L at the end, 1-O, 1-L. Or here it is in strictly number form, area code 424-272-6365, 424-272-6365. This message will not repeat because the local commercial break is now over. Time once again to return to the show. Thank you for your patience.
You're listening to Equality Radio.
Equality Radio.
Fabulous.
Now, here's your host, Randall White.
Randall White on Q Talk America.
Indeed, it is fabulous. 33 minutes past the hour on this fabulous Friday. I am Randall White. Great to have you joining us, everyone. Hopefully you're enjoying your first day of summer. That's right. Today is the summer solstice, and so we have 3 months ahead of us of hopefully beautiful weather where you live. Our guest this hour, or this half hour, is author PAUL NOVELLO. He wrote the book Unshattered Dreams I'm holding in my hand here, and it's an inspirational guide to a happy and successful life after a difficult childhood. Paul joins us to discuss his methods and his reasons for writing the self-help guide. Welcome to the program, Paul. Paul, you there? Oh, you know what? I got to put him on. Sorry. Why do I always do this? Sorry about that. Hi, Paul.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much, Randall. How are you?
Good. One of these days, I will push the right buttons at the right time for our guests, and there won't be silence when I say something. So, Paul, you're here as part of our partnership with HealthyGayLifestyles.com, and your book, Unshattered Dreams, is really a great read. I have it next to the bed, and at night, I go through a few pages of it, and I got to tell you, you just really have a knack for imparting your wisdom, I guess would be the best way to put it. How did you decide that you wanted to put this information in a book?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I really appreciate you having me on your show. I'm honored to be here, and I appreciate the feedback. It means a lot to me to hear that it's reaching people in that way. So thank you for that.
Well, it's a positive book, and I love that. We need more of that, especially in our community.
Absolutely. I was thinking that maybe a good place for me to start is to talk a little bit about my story and kind of what led me to where I am at right now. Does that make sense?
No, that's fantastic. Right.
Okay, sure. Well, Randall, my real purpose in life is to inspire people. I want them to overcome the challenges and the adversities that they face in their lives so that they can achieve success. Most of us are struggling with some type of adversity in some way, right? It could be a health issue, financial difficulties, a bad relationship, homophobia, bullying or harassment at school or at work. So I want people to know that they can transcend these issues. In a sense, I guess, for me, I've always identified with the underdog, and you're reading my story, so you know why. Mm-hmm. But I get inspired by the underdog. I love that story, people who have overcome great odds to pursue their dreams and achieve success in some way while having a positive impact on the world.
Do you think that that's common in the LGBT community for us to relate to underdogs? Because really, at the heart of it, we were all underdogs at one point in our lives.
Yes,
right?
I absolutely do. I think with the oppression and the homophobia that we have faced, and dealing with all our fears about being who we are and being authentically true to who we are, there has been a lot of that.
I think that's a reason why we also relate so much to strong women. Women tend to be an underdog in our society, and so when we see these figures that are strong women, Cher, Madonna, those sorts of things, we just celebrate it, and then they, whether they want to or not, they become gay icons.
Yes, absolutely. For me, it was Barbra Streisand, and is Barbra Streisand. I call her my muse.
Yeah, there you go. Another one. Yeah, boy, talk about a powerful woman.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah.
So to what that speaks to is the resiliency and the power of the human spirit. And so that's what I love. I love that story, and I want people to be able to connect to that within themselves.
And what do you... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to talk a little bit about, what got me there. But as you're reading in my book, I was raised by an abusive alcoholic father. Mm-hmm. And I'm also a gay man, and I experienced bullying and harassment as a kid in school. And so I faced a lot of dysfunction, a lot of trauma. And, when you come out of a situation like that, it has a profound effect on your life in many ways, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not all negative, by the way. There's a lot of positives that came out of it for me. For me, it always caused me to hope for and want for more in my life. And that's ultimately what led me into the personal development field. Originally, I started out in the theater as an actor and a singer, and worked in the restaurant industry for many years.
I think we all have, yeah. At one point or another. Well, adversity like that, having an abusive alcoholic father, and then, of course, being gay as a youth, it does sort of put you through the ringer, and you can come out a couple of different ways, right? Some people take that and become so much stronger, but sometimes they over-focus. Is that not true?
What do you mean by over-focus?
They feel the need for to be super successful to the point where they don't allow themselves to just enjoy life.
Yes, yeah, I think there is an element of that, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And I know for myself, and part of me really, when I think back on how long it took for me to come out and what I went through in my childhood and 20s, I wouldn't change it for anything now because it made me who I am. But during those years, I really honed a skill to get people to like me. And I think this is really common among gay men. They feel like if they... This is my armchair psychology, but I think that they feel like if people really knew them, they wouldn't like them. So they go out of their way to get as many people to like them as possible so they can feel better about themselves. Then when we come out of the closet and we in turn love ourselves, we still have those skills, that we developed when we were younger. And I think that's a positive.
Yes. And I think a lot of that stems from just feeling bad about ourselves, feeling like we're not good enough, that there's something wrong with us for being who we are, because that's the messages that we received. And so we're always looking for some kind of external validation. And so we want to please. We want people to like us. We want that reassurance, that reinforcement that, hey, we're okay. I'm okay. Until we really own that within ourselves, and we no longer have to look for it, externally.
Did you have a lot of...
I do a lot of that. I do a lot of that in my work with my coaching clients. I work a lot on well-being, and I work a lot on self-acceptance and loving yourself and changing those inner messages and those beliefs on a deeper level.
Did you have a lot of support when you were coming out and battling your demons?
Well, I have kind of an interesting experience because I have two gay cousins, my mother's sisters, their sons, two of them were also gay, and we were all pretty close. I have one cousin that was a little bit older, and then my other cousin and I are 9 months apart. So they were out before I did. It took me a little bit longer. I wasn't ready yet because I was dealing with a lot of the issues of growing up with the alcoholism in my family, and I came out a little bit later because I was struggling with just dealing with those life issues, and I wasn't ready to look at my sexuality yet.
You do believe
I didn't come out till later, about like 28, 29 is when I started realizing that's who I was.
You do believe that a support system is important, though, for people.
Absolutely. I think a support system is important for everybody, no matter who you are. I think, we really need a solid network of people in our lives.
And evaluate who those people are and whether they're actually supporting you.
Oh, yeah. Right. That's a good insight. Absolutely.
Right. How do you guide people to get the courage to change?
Well, I guess in a way, by leading by example, letting them see that it's possible, and that's where I said earlier that I like to inspire people.
Yeah.
To see that they can really transcend the past, and that's why I wrote the book. I mean, I really wrote the book to inspire you to know that no matter what difficulties you might have faced growing up or in your life, that you can always take positive steps to change and improve yourself, improve your life. And so I want to be living proof of that. I mean, I wouldn't be talking to you right now if that wasn't possible.
Right.
So I wanted to use my personal story, but do it in a way that would help others. And the problem is that I think most people don't really talk about these things. Like, you come out of a rough situation, no one really thinks about it. No one even cares most of the time, right? Society just expects you to go about your business, deal with your day-to-day life, function, be successful. But things don't always work out that way for folks. And so that's why I wrote this book. I wanted to shed some light on this topic and start a conversation around it.
And what did you mean by the title, Unshattered Dreams?
Oh, great question. Well, your unshattered dreams, to me, are really those parts of you that are whole and complete. So they're those pieces of you that are still alive within yourself.
Paul, I'm going to have you pick up on that when we come back after the break here. 44 minutes past the hour, we are speaking with Paul Novello. He's the author of Unshattered Dreams, and currently he's explaining what he means by that title here on Q Talk.
Equality Radio.
Join the conversation. Give us a call. 424-272-6365.
Equality Radio.
Unshattereddreams.com is the website to learn more about the book. You can also check it out on our program summary for the day at equalityradio.net. This segment is part of our partnership with HealthyGayLifestyles.com. I'm your host, Randall White, and we're back in just a moment. Can we have your attention for a moment? Eat, Drink, Explore Media has an important date we want to share with you. Saturday, July 13th. We invite you to join us at a craft beer and food event like no other. At last count, generous samples from more than 70 breweries will be paired with local culinary treats for the 2013 Breast Fest along San Francisco's waterfront at Fort Mason. Going on its 14th year, the annual Breast Fest has grown dramatically, raising money for an incredibly important cause, providing free, complimentary treatments for women battling breast cancer. The Charlotte Maxwell Clinic offers services such as acupuncture, massage, organic foods, and transportation. The clinic's core mission to provide relief from the terrible side effects of cancer and its treatments. Eat, Drink, Explore Media is very proud to be among the main sponsors for this year's event. For more information, go to thebreastfest.org. Are you as excited, maybe even nervous as we are about the upcoming decisions that will be handed down by the Supreme Court of the United States later this month? Hello, I'm Randall White, host of Equality Radio here on Q Talk America. In anticipation of what will surely be a historic day, the staff here at Equality Radio is hard at work, putting together expert guests, background information, and legal analysis for a solid day of live coverage. We are greatly expanding our show that day to fit the occasion. We want to be sure you have a forum to express your thoughts as history unfolds around us. There may be no greater moment in LGBT history than what's about to happen. And Equality Radio on Q Talk America will be here so we can all share it together. Tell your friends, family, and LGBT allies Q Talk America is the place to be when SCOTUS makes its decision known. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Randall White Radio Hour on Q Talk America. We're now in a local station commercial break, and we'll return to our conversation in just a moment. This break does give us an opportunity, however, to screen your calls as well, so give us a ring right now to share your thoughts on the topic at hand. Our number, 4242 Randall. But make sure you spell Randall correctly. My name is spelled R-A-N-D-O-L. Or, here it is in strictly number form, area code 424-272-6365. That's 424-272-6365. This message will repeat just in case you didn't have time to jot it down. You're listening to the Randall White Radio Hour only on Q Talk America. We're now in a local station commercial break, and we'll return to our conversation in just a moment. This break gives us an opportunity, however, to screen your calls as well. So pick up the phone and give us a ring right now. Share your thoughts on the topic at hand. Our number is 4242 Randall. That's 4242 Randall, and make sure you spell Randall with an O-L at the end, 1-O, 1-L. Or here it is in strictly number form, area code 424-272-6365, 424-272-6365. This message will not repeat because the local commercial break is now over. Time once again to return to the show. Thank you for your patience.
You're listening to
Randall White on Q Talk America. Equality Radio.
49 minutes now past the hour. Great to have you with us, everyone, here on this Friday, the first full day of summer. That's right. Hope you are enjoying it. We are speaking with author PAUL NOVELLO. His inspirational guide to a happy and successful life after a difficult childhood is called Unshattered Dreams. We should mention that this segment is brought to you by Flex. It is a gay club in Las Vegas. FlexLasVegas.com. They will also be sponsoring our day of coverage for the Supreme Court rulings that are coming up possibly as early as Monday. So make sure you join us as soon as you find out that those rulings have come down. Head on over to Q Talk America. We'll be broadcasting at least a 4-hour show that day. If you have a question for Paul, 424-272-6365 is the number. 424-272-6365. Paul, welcome back to the program. When the music started playing, you were explaining why you titled the book Unshattered Dreams.
Yes. Hello. Hi, Randall. I actually defined that in the book. So if I could just read that brief passage, I would love to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah, I have at it.
Okay. So your unshattered dreams are the parts of you that remain whole and complete despite anything that happened to you. These are your strengths, talents, capabilities, your intellect, and your heart's desires. No matter what happened during your difficult childhood, no one can ever destroy your unshattered dreams. They are yours to have and to hold. You may have tucked them away deep inside of you, but trust me, they are there, yearning for expression. Believe that you can rise above the past, create the life you want, and fulfill your unshattered dreams. For this is the life you were meant to live. I've done it, and so can you. Remember, the power to change your life is always within you.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
And our dreams are unshattered, regardless of what happened in our childhood. You carry those dreams with you, and your book helps inspire people then to live out those dreams.
Yes, and to reach them in whatever capacity you can. You know.
One of the big obstacles is the blame game, right? People need to get past blaming for anything that happened in their childhood.
Yes, I have a whole chapter on that because that keeps you stuck in the whole thing. It keeps you stuck in anger, blame, resentment, and these are all negative emotions and things that really keep people from moving forward in their lives.
It's easier said than done, though.
Oh yeah.
So how do you guide people down that path? Like, how do you let them know that because it's our instinct as humans, we want to put the blame for it. But you're right, it's a negative path, and we don't need to be on that one.
Well, there's a whole process to that. I mean, you have to get in touch with the anger and express it and understand the implications of that and what you went through and kind of put it in a framework and a context, and then understand about releasing the past and forgiveness. I mean, these are all things that I talk about in the book. And of course, you need the support of a good therapist or a support group or a network of ways to do that.
Forgiveness is its own chapter as well. That's one of the one of the methods you were just saying as part of the blame, getting rid of the blame. You say under the growth tips in that chapter, be open and willing to forgive yourself. So, at first when I say forgiveness, a lot of people probably listening were thinking, oh, that means forgiving your mom, your dad, your family, your schoolmates, whoever it might be. Why yourself?
Well, because many times I think we internalize these things and we take it on, and especially as children, we often think we were the cause of something that happened. Children very frequently feel that way, that they did something wrong to cause this situation or this outcome. And I think a lot of times people hold that within themselves. And so it's really important to say, I did the best I can. It wasn't my fault, and to connect with that and to release that and forgive yourself, and forgive yourself for the things that you may have done, like hanging on to negativity, letting that maybe take away from your present life. It wasn't your fault. Maybe you didn't know better at the time.
I think people also need to forgive themselves for how short or how long it may have taken them to come out of the closet. Some people think, I've had this thought. I think, I just wasted my 20s, lying to people and covering my tracks and just, what a nightmare. But then, and so you can carry that around with you and just be mad at yourself, even though you're out now and living happy and everything. You still, in the back of your head, you're still kind of thinking, especially in this day and age, today, right now, when we are seeing marriage equality popping up state after state, and we see a landscape that is so different, we really have to take. Isn't that true, Paul? We really have to take ourselves back in time to remember what it was like and why we were closeted at that time. We're not living in the same time anymore.
And then you have some feelings around that, like, gee, I wish, I would be living this now, or having, younger now with time like this happening.
Yeah.
Or had these types of opportunities when I was younger. There's a lot of those feelings.
You also walk people in the book, you walk them through finding inspiration. What are some of the ways you direct people to find some inspiration in their lives?
Well, that can be through, like for me, when I was a kid, there wasn't maybe a lot of inspiration around in my immediate family. So I looked, I went into a world of fantasy with the theater and the acting and the singing, and I looked for people outside. So I would say Barbra Streisand was a big inspiration to me.
Mm-hmm.
I saw somebody that could do this, or the music. Music was a huge inspiration to me. So it's whatever you could connect with that gives you hope, brings you pleasure, gives you a vision for, connecting to what your life can be.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that is for you. Maybe it's a sports figure. Maybe it's a teacher. Maybe you have a great friend or a mentor in your life that inspires you. So wherever you can find sources of inspiration, and initially, it might not come from your immediate circle, but then eventually it will. As you move more toward that, you'll find people to connect with who are more inspiring and have the qualities that you're wanting to develop within yourself.
Well, I think one of the first steps would be to grab the book, Unshattered Dreams, by our guest, Paul Novello. Paul, thank you so much for sharing your inspiration with us today. And we do have a link available at eatdrinkexplore.net under today's program summaries, or you can just go there directly, unshattereddreams.com. Again, this is part of our partnership with healthygay-lifestyles.com. Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you, Randall. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. We'll have you back on in the future as well, because I know you're not stopping with this one.
You've been listening to
Equality Radio.
Connect with us online at equalityradio.net.
Equality Radio.
All right, everyone, make it a great weekend. Remember that on Monday, the Supreme Court may issue its decisions on both DOMA and Prop 8. You'll want to be right here on Equality Radio when it happens. I'm your host, Randall White. Make it a great one, everyone.